So when I turned 40, I thought, I've officially entered midlife. But now that I'm in the last year of my 40s, it's got me wondering, well, what is midlife? How long does it go for? Am I still in midlife when I turn 50? So, is midlife an age or a stage? Western culture particularly views it as a crisis type of stage where people make these drastic changes either to their careers or they buy something, like the guy getting the sports car or the lady leaving her husband. So very stereotypical crisis type of stage. It's often a focus on health or loss or major life issues. That's a bit depressing. It's obviously a reality for some, but I don't like to focus on that element too much. As the younger generation come through midlife, it's still a time of really heightened responsibilities because many got started in, the mortgage game and the family game a bit later in life. So it can look different depending on where you are on the spectrum. I think society's view of midlife is absolutely changing. There is less of a focus on the crisis aspect and more of a focus on opportunities to try new things, change your career or your life. So definitely a focus on opportunity. I've seen so many people in their mid to late 40s, 50s and beyond, launching new careers, trying things they've never tried before, becoming social media influencers, if that's your kind of thing. It's really becoming more of an opportunity and people are sharing that aspect of their life. I follow an amazing lady called Kim Hale, and she's an over 50 social media person, and she started to pursue her dance career all over again in her midlife. And she is auditioning on Broadway and dancing on Broadway. It's amazing. And I think this year she's, 57-ish. And she's so inspirational. So what does midlife feel like for me? I'll start by reflecting as I round out the 40s. That sounds weird to say, but it's a reality. I think from a professional perspective, I still spent most of my midlife focusing on having a solid career and job because I still had a lot of responsibilities. I still wanted to put away superannuation for retirement, still had quite a mortgage, still wanted to help fund my daughter's pathway to and through university. And I wasn't ready to make any really radical changes, but I made a little bit of a career pivot and change, which was based on my interests. From a personal perspective, as my daughter got older and I found her being more independent, I had more time, I started rediscovering some of my passions and interests. I noticed that some of my friends had lost a little bit of their sense of self. It was still quite focused on the family, which is nothing wrong with, by the way, but they didn't seem to have a lot of interest outside of the family. And I know from my own personal perspective, I didn't want that. I still wanted to have that wonderful family, but I wanted a little bit of time for me outside of that as best as I could manage, because I started to think about the fact that my child would be leaving the nest, as they say. And you can check out my video on that because I actually became an empty nester much earlier than I expected. And I was more mid-40s when I became an empty nester. So that's a story for another YouTube video that you can watch on my playlist. So, last year of my 40s, which means in 12 to 18 months, I will be in my 50s officially. So what is next for me? What I've learned from my 40s is that there's some changes I want to make from a professional perspective. You know, when you're working full-time for someone else, you have limited control over your time and ability to make decisions aligned with your professional work values, or you might want the freedom to work and live in a more flexible way and do things that you really like in the time that you want to do them. So I really want the freedom to shape my work around my values and create some kind of business that helps me prioritize the life that I want for my next chapter. So there'll be lots more change and transformation coming in my 50s, and I'm excited about it. It's terrifying because some of the changes are quite big, but I'm pretty keen to give it a go and, turn it into the fabulous 50s. So back to the original question on the video. Is midlife an age or a stage? So I'm going to go with midlife isn't an age, and it's a number of stages that we go through. There's lots of transitions, there's different opportunities, there's different things happening in our lives, whether it's with ourselves, our children, or our parents. So it's definitely stages. I'm undecided what age the stage ends at. It's not important right now, but it's a real time where we can focus on what we value in our life, what we value in our career, and make some of those changes that we need to become more aligned with what's important to us. So I think midlife's a little bit about self-reflection, reevaluation, lots of physical, emotional, and life changes, but most importantly, opportunities. So how about you? I would love to hear about your midlife journey and hear what you think. Is it an age? Is it a stage? How are you feeling about it? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below of this video. I'd love to hear what midlife means to you now and what it might mean for the future. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Please like and share if you think this content might be helpful for others. And keep following and go have a look at my playlist, because I'm sharing insights, tips, personal stories to help people navigate midlife with clarity, purpose, and joy. Let's do this midlife journey together.